Hello, today we want to talk about Excel data analysis and statistical programs you can run in Excel using both the inbuilt functions in Excel or inbuilt commands in Excel, or you can call the formula in Excel, and also using some Visual Basic. So we'll be doing some Visual Basic. I don't know if it's going to be in this particular video, but we'll be using some Visual Basic commands. Like if you right click on this sheet right now, you can click on View Code, and you can see you can have some code running on this sheet. This sheet 6. Okay, but if you want to run code on this workbook, you can as well. So let's on this sheet 6, or you can even go over here, select a worksheet if you want to, and then you can run a program. Let's do that. You can run a program from there. So this is the worksheet. Okay, you can actually write some program here. I'll show you how to write some of those kind of programs. So that's what we'll be covering today. So I wanted to sit tight, and it's going to be a little bit long one, so we'll go through it. So I have a simple data here that I want to analyze and do some mede on. So we have the serial number here, we have the first name, the last name, we'll have the range numbers, we'll have the so these are courses, and then we'll have the CA, that's continuous assessment, we'll have the exam, and we're supposed to calculate the grade here, and so on for these 3 subjects. So let me change this subject to, I'm using course code, but let me change them to something very understanding. Let's say this one is English language, and then let's say this one is mathematics. Let's also have mathematics here, and then let's say here we'll have literature, and then finally here let's have something like biology. Alright, these are simple courses that we have. I was supposed to calculate this and maybe get the result. This is the grade. Okay, let's say we want to get the grade point. So this is the grade point. Okay, so that is what we'll have for now. So what we can do next is to quickly design this table to look a little bit better than it's looking. So starting from, I call this first semester result, I'm going to select the whole row here, and what I want to do is to merge the row. So I'll go to home, click on merge and center. It's going to merge and center the row, and then place the text on the center. I'm going to expand the row to 2 rows, so it will be like that, and maybe add some colors and design and stuff. It doesn't really matter, but we can do that. So to do that, we can come over here and change the font size to, maybe let me use 16. Change the font theme to, let's use Times New Roman. Okay, yeah, Times New Roman, and then that is what we have. So we can actually make it bold and change some background colors if you want to. Let me use this or thicker one, then make the text white. Okay, so we can do stuff like that. And then we're going to do likewise for this. So for the serial number, first off, I want everything to be centered. I want this one, so I want it to be centered, so I'll just center it here, which is cool. So I'm going to also center the merge these 2 cells to be 1, merge these 2 to be 1, merge these 2 to be 1. Likewise here. Then here I want to merge these 3 to be 1. We'll make sure I center it. Then these ones can be there. Okay, I think, okay, I just have to center this guy, or this. You can do the 2 of them. In fact, you can do all of them. You know, can just center them. Oh, not merge and center, sorry, just center. All right, so we can do that. Then for mathematics, we want to do this. We want to merge, center. For literature in English, we want to do the same thing, merge and center. And for biology, we want to do something, merge and center. Then for this one, I think it's okay. Just okay, let's just merge these 2. Make sure it's centered. The same thing with the grid point, make sure we merge and center. okay, and then expand it a little bit. Yeah. All right, so for this side, I just want to give them a nice color. So should I center? Let me center these ones too. I didn't center these ones, so center these and center these. All right, I think everything is looking cool. So I just want to merge this, you know, style these ones a little bit. I'm going to use 12 is fine, or let's use 14. And what else do I want to do here? I want to change the font again to Times New Roman. Okay, and let's give it some background color. Should I use this blue again? I don't know. Yeah, I think it's okay. Or can use some other color, like maybe thick something. Yeah, I think I prefer this. Good combination there. So I haven't done this. Let me expand this. Just double click on the edge between the two columns. You will be able to expand that. So we've done that for this. I'll quickly do that for this. Yeah, okay, I think every other thing is looking good. Okay, let's do this, and finally let's do this one. Yeah, so this is how our table looks like. So for the grade, we might want to give them a separate color, but that will be much later. And then do the same thing here, do the same thing here, the same thing here, and then we can have the final grade point. Okay, so let's start with that, and then we'll continue. So before I proceed, I want to increase the font size of this so it will be easy for you to see. So I'll open this up and go to font. Let's use 14. I think 14 is okay. Yeah, so change the font to Times New Roman. You can leave any, you can use any one you want, you know, but I just want to use these ones, right? Because these are industry standard. All right, we'll make sure we save our work. So if I do Ctrl S, I've saved the work. All right, so let's calculate this. Okay, before we get into some programs, you know, let's just get the grade here. So what I want to do is use what we call the if statement. So it will be part of the programs, some of the things we'll talk about. We can get the average score. Okay, you know what, let me get average score here. Let me put average score. Yeah, let's put average score. So I want to insert another cell here, so which will give us the average score of all these, right? So let's do that. You know what, I think that's where we should start from, right? Let's start from there. So I'll add another column here. So I have another column now. This column need to match two of them, the same thing I did for that ones. So inside this, I want to say average. So average, yeah, so average. So make sure we expand that. Yeah, so that is what we'll have. Let me reduce this so the other ones can fit in. Okay, of course there is a code you can also use to do that. We'll get to that point. So what I'm doing is just double clicking, it will just automatically adjust the cells. So this is average. Okay, so we need to do that. So we want to get some functions in a cell. So I'll be talking about close to, by God's grace, maybe around 50 to 60 functions or thereabout in Excel, useful functions in Excel that we can use to, you know, build some nice program. So the first one I want to talk about, okay, this is some of the ones we've done before. And it's a little bit different, so I'll just create a new one, a new sheet here. I'm holding down Control key with plus key on my Windows, but if you're on Mac and you're using the Notes program, you just hold Command plus and it will give you the same option. All right, so let's do this. Coming over here, what I want to do is to write, okay, let me just say maybe 40 useful programs. Let's use 40. It might be more than that. 40 useful programs in Excel. Let's say MS Excel. We need to be specific. MS Excel. Okay, so these are what we are covering today. So the first one I want to talk about is the sum. I want to start with the sum. So in Excel, how it works is that you put equals to first before you can sum. So sum can be between 2 digits or 2 cells. If you recall from our last class, you will remember that each of these cells has a unique identifier, which is represented by the letter assigned to the column and the number assigned to the row. So for example, this we have L, this is column L, and this is row 13. You understand? Column L, row 13. So if I click on this cell, you see that I have L13 here at this point. So if I want to sum the number between this and this, so all I need to do is to take this K13 and L13. So if I do that, I'll come over here and say so K13 to, I want to sum bit from K13 to L13, and this will immediately return the total number of what I'm looking for. And that is just how simple it is in Excel. So let's try this out and see what will happen. So let's say I want to get the sum of these two numbers, this one and this one. I want to sum them together and maybe put it here, right? Okay, I want to sum this and this and put it here. Okay, so let's start with that. So coming over here, what I need to do is to press equal to, I'll now say sum, open my parentheses. Now I can type, since I'm looking for this digit, this E4 and F4, right? So I can just say E4 and F4, yeah, F4. Okay, once I do, you see that these two guys have been selected, and if I close my parentheses and press enter, you see that I have the sum of these two numbers. You see, look at the command here, E4 and F4 in the formula bar. This is called the formula bar, right? So that is what we can do. Very, very easy to get that. And if I want to get the rest of them, I don't need to repeat this same process. I'll just have to drag this from this anchor point and drag it all the way down, and I'll get the same result for all of them. Isn't that cool? Right? So we can do that for this. Okay, I can do it for this and for this and for, you know, as much as we can do, you know. So there's another way to do it also. We can click here, type equal to sum the same way, but just a little bit different. So instead of typing the name of the cell, I can just come here and drag the cell I want. You see, I just drag the two of them, click on the first one, drag it all the way down to the second one, and close your parentheses and press enter, and you have the same result. So if you drag it down again, you get the same result. I don't know if we're communicating positive, right? So that is cool. That is so cool. That is so cool. So what we want to do next is simple. On selection, you can use the selection tool to select a particular cell, right? So I was going to do that using the average. Okay, let's say I want to select this, and so I'm holding down Control key and then this. So I'm selecting this and this. Look at our if you click here, you see we have that program. But if you hold down Control key, if you drag this down and then hold down Control key and drag all the way down here, you see I've selected these two what do I call it, these two columns, right? And I can use it and do something, right? But what if you want to use command to do this? There's a command called choose columns. Okay, it's called choose column. Let me just okay, I'll use this average column to test it out first, then we can move on. So choose column. So the way it works is the same thing, equals to choose. Let me type it in capital letter, choose columns or columns with X. So open parentheses, and then we can actually select the columns we want. Okay, for example, if I want B1, okay, B1 is not there. Let's say B. Okay, let me use D or E. Okay, let's use E4. Okay, let's say E4. Yeah. So if I want E4, yeah. So this is selected E4 right here, and then I put semicolon, and then I want to select which other one can I select? And let me say I want to select F. Okay, let's say F4 too. F4, right? So let's say F4. So I've selected those two guys, right? And notice how immediately I type this choose columns is actually selecting the columns for me, right? So, but then something interesting happened. Okay, something interesting happened. For example, let's say you know that this command is used to select columns from a large data set, right? Like you know, from this I'm selecting from E4 to F4, right? Okay, but then I can select the number of columns that I want to copy. You understand? Like let's say I want to copy some columns. Okay, so I can say I want to copy you know what, let me do it properly. let me select the whole worksheet and show you an example of what I mean. Let me say I want to select from here. Okay, so click here. Let me say I want to select from here to here. Okay, so from here to here, I want to select some particular column. So this is going to be column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5, column 6, column 7, column 8. So this particular command is used in a very large data set where, let's say for example, you have 1000 data, 2000 data. Okay, in as much as you can select small, this small data set that we have here, we can just select between E4 and E5, and just small amount of data, but it can also be used in a very large data set. So in this situation, I see automatically it's selecting E4 to L18, which is this guy. So if I put comma here now, I can tell it the column I want to return. Like I say, I want to return this grade column, like this one, grade 1, this one, and maybe this one. There's nothing in this one, so let's just say we're returning this one and this one, right? So this is what 1, 2, 3. So this 1, 2, 3, and then this 1, 2, 3. That's 6. So 3 and 6. So I can just say return 3 and return 6. Now I can close the parentheses and I can press enter. Okay, so it's going to I don't know, I have error there. Okay, choose column. It's actually selecting it, but it's supposed to work. I don't know, I have small error there or something, but it's selecting it anyways. But it's supposed to return the third one. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that should be the third one, right? Okay, but anyway, of course, what we'll do here is that we actually use it to copy. Okay, we use it to copy the command. Okay, now as I've copied that command, this command, now let me copy it. Let's go down a little bit. No, let's go down a little bit here. Okay, so we can paste and get something in return. All right, so but let me leave that. I don't know why that didn't show up, but let me do that. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to delete everything here. I'm going to delete everything here because now I want to first of all get the average. So I'll look at the average. You know that average is also the mean. Average is also the mean, which means that what we are doing is that we're combining. We're going to get the sum total of these, sum total of these, sum total of these, sum total of these, divided by 4 courses. So if we get the total of these courses, you understand, and then we can divide, we can get the average of them. That's what we can do. So if we get the sum of these together, which is supposed to be here, but I want to put something else here. I want to put something else here, maybe like pass, fail, or maybe even grade, like A, B, C, D, the grade point and all that. That's what I want to do here. Okay, so of course we can still do it from the total if we want to. We can do it from the total, get the grade from here. So this can be the total, so we can get the grade from here. So I think that's what we should do. Yeah, that's what we should do. We should get the total here. So this should be the total score, and then we can get the average score. How did this swap? So let me redo that. So I'm going to say total. Let's call this total. I forgot my cap lock was on. So have total here. So this should be average. Alright, so that's cool. Yeah, so we'll change these ones to total. So this one is going to be okay. Let's unmerge this cell. Yeah, so here I want to change this one to total. Here I want to change this one to total too. And finally here I want to change this one to total. Alright, so now that we have this, what we can do is simple. We can come over here and get the total of this. So to do that, we can simply say let the sum be equals to So we can have the sum of these numbers. So I can say equal to sum, just like we did before, open parentheses, and I'm going to select this and this, and then close parentheses, press enter, and I can have the total of this. Very simple, very simple. Then drag it down, drag it down all the way down to this place, and I want to do the same for here, so I can just say sum. And you know that this sum is actually written by somebody. It was somebody that created this program. I'm going to show you how you can create your own program, and then you can actually write equal to, then refer to the name of your program, and your program will actually run, you know, and you can use it to do something. You know, you can create a program, then put equal to, and put, you know, the name of that program you wrote, and then it's going to give you the total. All right, so that's what we'll have here. So finally, equal to sum. Now we can do this here. So we've gotten the sum of these numbers, right? So that's what we can do. Drag it down, and we'll have this. So to differentiate this total from this, I might just give it a different color to make it. We can give it this color. Yeah, we can do it like this so that it will be easy to identify. You know, though there are other things we can do, but we'll get to that later. So I just put it like this, and then this total. Alright, so the next thing we want to get is the average score. For the average, we want to add this total, this total, this total, and this total for Abel. So when we do this now, Abel will get the average score of Abel. That means adding this, and divided by 4 to give us the mean. So the mean in statistics is actually used. By the way, these commands, all of them are inside this FS program. So if I click on FS, I'll see the list of all the commands. Okay, let's close this first. So click on empty space, then click FS. Then I can see the list of all the commands. So if I click on here, I can see most recently used. I see all the command. I can see for finances or financial purposes, mathematics, trigonometry, dates and time, statistical programs, lookup, and all that. So this one is engineering, and other. You see there are so many other different for the web, right? So if we also have for logical. So if I click on statistical now, you can see we have average. You see, that's the one we're using right now. Okay, average is actually mean. It's the same thing. If I scroll down, you see even standard deviation, you know, variance, and many other things we can do there, right? So we can do all of that in Excel. So let me quickly get to the average. So for the average, you summon the same thing, equal to average. You can write it in small letter or capital letter, it will work. So open parentheses. Now I want to select this cell, which is G4, and I want to select J4, and I want to select M4, and I want to select P4. Once I do this 3, close my parentheses and press enter, it will give me the average, which is 62.75. That's what I got as average of Abel. So if I scroll down, and now watch that this total, if I change this total, okay, sorry, not that, press escape key. If I change the number here, okay, not here, sorry. If I change the number here from, let's say in exam, yeah, good. So if I change the number in exam, let's say to 33, once I press enter, you see the average also automatically change. All the numbers, this one will be updated, this one will likewise be updated. So let's drag this down for the average. The function will be run all through down this cell, this column. So this is the column we have here. I can see the scores of all these people. They have the same score, and then let me make small adjustment to this. So let's say I want to give this person, okay, not that person, yeah, maybe that person. Let's say exam is the same thing here. I just want to reduce the score because I'm looking for something. Yeah, so I've gotten what I need. Okay, so it was for a reason. You'll see that in a minute. All right, so we are done with calculating the total and then the average of all individual elements, each individual person. So let's say the next thing we want to do, we want to actually write a program to give them score based on, to give them a grade based on that. So we can have a grade point which is A, B, C, D, E, and F. So F will mean that someone failed the exam. Okay, let's even assume that some people had 0. Let's say maybe at this point this person didn't come for this exam, so it scored 0 and then also scored 0 in the exam. So this person didn't take this exam, right? And I mean, there's still large score here. I want to do something. Let's say maybe here 2, this person didn't write this. In fact, let's say this person didn't write any of the exams, right? This person didn't write any of the exams, and they're just 0 throughout. Okay, yeah. So this person didn't come for any of the exams, so everything boils down to 0. So let's see how we're going to be able to get the grade point. Now let's discuss the grade point very quickly. For the grade point, sorry. So okay, I've talked about the choose cell, choose column actually with S, actually very important. I can put I'll just leave the command there. I want to talk about, it's going to be up to 40 or so. I want to talk about average now. I've talked about average, and I want to talk about the if statement. So let's look at if condition. Okay, so that's what I want to talk about next. So for the if statement, we're going to have a grade point. I'm going to write it down here. So let's call it grade point. So in the grade point, it is important to note, let's push this up. It is important to note that for someone to score A, the person must have must score between 70 to 100. Okay, let's use let me use the West African Examination Council. So we'll have A1. So A1 is okay. So let me list all of them. So we'll have B2. We'll have B3. We'll have C4. We'll have C5. We'll have I think we'll have C6. Yeah. We'll have D7. We'll have E8. Sorry, D7. This should be D7. We'll have E8. I'll have F9. Alright, so this is the grade point for West African Examination Council, and then we want to use this as video. So for you to score F, for you to have F, I'm assuming, I don't know exactly the way they do it, but I'm assuming it is between 0 to 39. Okay, so if you score between 0 to 39, if your average is between 0 to 39, that means you have F9. Then if your average is between 40 and I think 44, you have E8. And if you're from 45 to 49, you have D7. And then from 50 to I think 54, you have C6. And then from 55 to 59, you have C5. And then from 60 to I'm not sure, but I think from 60 to is it 69? No, I think from 60 to, I'm not sure, but let's say 64. Okay, I'm not sure. Then from 65 to 69, you have that's B3. And then from, let's say, 70 to let me take it up to 80. Okay, 80 or it's like 79 actually, you have that. And then from, let's say, 80 to 100, you have A1. So we're going to be writing a condition that will check the average of these students and see anyone that scored between this that has between these scores will have this grade. You understand? So we'll write it as a program, and it's going to automatically generate this report in this particular manner, right? That's what we want to do. So let's get to it. I'm going to write the code here, then copy it and paste in Excel so that you can see it in a bigger screen, right? So that's what we want to do. So I'm going to write it under here. So the same way we do, so we're going to say equal to if. So we'll start equal to if. So I'm going to start from the first one. The first one says if a person scores between 80 to 100. So if the person scores between 80 to 100, the person must have scored A. So we have another command, so let me add that command here. So the next command here we're going to add is the end equal what is not equal to and. So I just write it and, but you can do equal to and if you want to. Okay, so it's also used to as an attachment to this, but of course we'll have to use this, right? So let's go down. So coming over here, I'm going to use and. Now because I'm going to be writing it here, so there's no point doing equal to and here, you understand? So because we already initialized it here, so there's no point. So I'll just say and. If I want to also sum, I'll just say sum here. Okay, there won't be point of saying equal to sum because I've already initialized it from here. So I think that makes sense. So let's move on. So coming over here, what I want to do is and. Now this and is a conjunction that is used to run 2 or 3 conditions first. Okay, let's explain if statement says so. We understand. So this in if statement, this will be the condition normally, comma. Then if it is true, this is what will happen. If true, this will happen, and if it is false, this is what will happen. They will close our if statement. I don't know if it makes sense. Okay, what we are saying is that we'll test our condition here. Okay, let's say test condition. So test the condition here. So in testing a condition, you test a condition here. So if that condition is true, it will run here. But if it's false, it will run here. So that's what we are doing exactly. So let's do that. But then, so what I'm doing now, since I have multiple conditions, normally if you have one condition, you're going to test it here. But what if you have like 3 conditions or 4 conditions to test, right? What do? You cannot say let me call this. So I cannot say and. This is where the and comes. I cannot put my condition. This is condition 1. I cannot put condition 2. Okay, for this condition, let's just call it con 1, con 2, so that it doesn't fill the whole place. Let's con 1, con 2. Can even have con 3. You understand? So you can have condition 1, condition 2, condition 3. After testing these conditions, and if it's not true, this will run. Anything you put here will run, and if it's false, anything you put here will run. Okay, so but we have multiple conditions. We have more than even 3 conditions. So how are we going to test it? And each of these conditions is not even just that we have multiple conditions. The problem is that each of the condition has different reply, like have different things we need to reply on it. So what do? What we do now is instead of checking for each and every condition in a cell, what we do is that we'll check for the first 2 conditions. Like we're checking for this condition now, and the result is if it's true, this will happen. We have F9. Let me give you an example. So let me start from this E8. Don't worry, we'll just write it at once. There's no point giving an example. So I think you get the point now, because I'm going to just write the code. So if we test for the condition, if it is true, we'll return the value D7, E8 or whatever. But if it is false, we'll check for the second condition. So it will be like an if inside an if. So instead of writing here, so let's say if it is true, if the condition is true, we'll put the true message. We'll put the, let's say A1 for example. Sorry, A1. Then if it is false, what do? We'll not check for the second condition. We'll not say if. We'll not put and again. We'll put this thing again, checking for the second condition. We can put and then we'll check for the next condition. I don't know if it makes sense. So we'll check for the condition. If it's true, we'll put what it's supposed to do. But if it's not true, we'll check for the second condition. We'll put what it's supposed to be. So let's say it is, this time it will not be B2. Then if it's false, we'll check for the second condition, the third condition now, and we'll continue like that until we are done with the program. Okay, so that's exactly what we're doing. So just follow along. So now I want to check for the first condition, which is if it is 80 and above. Now if what is 80, let's check for here. This is average, so this is Q4. Okay, Q4 is right here. So if Q4 is 80 and above, is anyone 80 and above here? There's no one up to 80, so I'll make this one to be up to 80. Let's say 50 here. Stay 72. Let's do 60 here. Stay that. Let's do 70 here. Come on. 75. Yeah. So this one is 80 and above now. So we are expecting this one to be A1. Okay. So let's work. Now remember, it's Q4. Q4, very, very important. It's written right here. Now let's go back to the code. So in coming to the code now, when I say and, if Q4, okay, now we're using comparison operator here. If it is greater than or equal to 80, comma, that's the first condition. The second condition is if Q4, you can conjoin them, but let's do it in a very simple way so that everybody can understand it. So Q4 is greater than, if Q4 is greater than 80 or equal to 80, and if Q4 is less than or equal to 100. Now what are we saying? We're saying if Q4, if the average they have, if it's greater than 80 or equal to 80, that is from 80 and above, or if it is less than 100 or equal to 100, because nobody can score above 100, right? So that's what we have there. If you score above 100, it means there is an error. I'll show you where we can handle the error too. It's still in the process. Now, if this condition, if it is true, then this guy scored A1. That's the first condition. Then, comma. The second condition will not be 2. Otherwise, it means they have some other score that is not A1. Okay, so what do? We'll now check for the second condition. The second condition is now for B2, this one, 70 and 79, which is less than 80, because we already tested for 80. If you have 80 and above, is there. So the second one is going to stop at 79. So let's go there. So the next thing we want to do is say and again. So I'm just opening and closing it at the same time. You understand? I open the parentheses and close, because you must close it exactly the way it is. If not, you have an error. So if Q4 again is greater than or equal to 70, okay, we'll put comma there, and then we'll check if Q4 is, now I'll just say less than 80, because less than 80 means 70 point, even if it's 70.999999, once it's less than 80, you have what you have is what? You have B2. That's the condition. Otherwise, we'll go again for the next condition. If, open parenthesis, close it, then open my and, open and close it, come inside the condition statement, then write Q4 is greater than or equal to, the next one should be 60. Okay, this one is 65, so 65 and less than 70, so 65, or Q4 is less than 70. Then it will be that this person has B3. Otherwise, if, again, so I'm going to speed it up because of time, so just you can pause it and, you know, take your time to understand what we are doing. All right, so Q4 is greater than or equal to, so the next one is, let's check, the next one is so I've done this one to this, so we're looking at 60 to 64. So let's go, so 60 to 64. So if it's equals to 60, comma, or Q4 is less than 65, what do we have? We'll have that to be C4. Otherwise, if, open and close, open and close, Q4 is greater than or equal to, I think the next one is 55, comma, then of if Q4 is less than 60, then this person would have scored C5. Otherwise, if and Q4 is greater than or equal to 50, or Q4 is less than 55, then this person would have scored C6. Otherwise, if, and, I keep making mistake in this, and, open parenthesis, Q4 is greater than or equal to 45, or Q4 is less than 50, what do we have? We have that this person have scored D7. Otherwise, we check for the next condition, if and this person Q4, if this person's average is greater than or equal to 40, if it's equal to 40, or if it is less than 45, if you can follow to this point, if you can be able to say it before I even write it, it means you are getting it. So this person would have scored E8 in the WAEC, and if that's not so, then we need to check for the next condition, which is if this person Q4 is greater than or equal to greater than or equal to 0, okay, and then less than if Q4 is less than 40, yeah, which is 39. So it would mean that this person just scored F9. So otherwise, normally we would have had the next condition, but there is no other condition to go for. So otherwise, it means this person did not write the exam. So we can say result awaiting, or no result. Let's use no result, NR, or just write it in full, no result. Come on, can I write no result? No results. So this is our program, very simple. Well, not that simple. So I'll just copy this program, then head over to Excel, and then paste this program here. So from here, what I want to do is to just paste. So expand the formula bar and paste, Ctrl V. So pasted this program, I'll just press enter, and we'll have some errors. So let's check where the error is coming from. Of course, we might just have some tip errors. So say we find the problem in Excel. Okay, we can just read this on your own, but then I know it must be that we must have missed something. So it is suggesting that we do not close one of the if statements. So let's check. We have how many if statements here? We have 1, we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 if statements. So we should have 9 parentheses here. So let's say I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'll have 10. Is this supposed to be 10? 10. I think we'll have extra one. I think that's what the problem is. So this should be the first one. Hold on, I found the error. Let me just delete one and see what happens. Okay, hold on, let me just fix the error. It's from here, I'm sure. So let's test this again. If and this, okay, this, okay, we have A. Then check for the second condition. If this is true, we'll have B. Check it for the third condition. If this is true, we'll have this. Check for the fourth condition. If, okay, this, we'll have this. Check it for the fifth condition. If this we'll have this. Check for the fifth condition. If this, we'll have this, and so on to. Oh, I think I found the error. Yeah, see the error here. So we have and we do not close it here, right here. So we do not close it. So this is the error here. Just close this. Yeah. So we just said and, so we need to close it here. We didn't close it with the parentheses. So we've closed it. Let's move forward. So and if this condition is there, okay, it was closed then. And if this condition is there, it was closed. No result. So I think that's fine. So let's check. Yeah, so the last error now is saying that we have too much parentheses, so I just have to close that, and then we have our A. So see, so the first person scored A, so all I need to do is to drag it down all the way down to the last person. Let's move it even to the empty. I'm going through the empty space, you see. So see what happened. So this person scored A1, this one scored C6, B3. Let's center this. So all these ones are scoring F9. I want to center this. Yeah, okay. So this is A1, this is C. All of them have their different results. It was called F9, of course. Okay, and then this one's called C5, and is D7, and you see all this one's also F9. You see, and we'll have all of them. So I'll just delete these ones. Just delete these ones, it's not really matter. So I just wanted to show you our program is working. So at the point you see no result is when, if there's a misinformation here. Let's say if somebody tried to, let's say, you know, this is supposed to be a number, but let's say someone types his name here. Okay, it will stay some, because this will give you 0 to stay some, but at some point it shouldn't work. Okay, it shouldn't work. It will give you some error, like if the result is messed up, or the person, there's some kind of error in the result, you understand, it will say no result. So I'll just say it's in here. Okay, see, it comes up, so it automatically updates these results each time we do this. Okay, so that is for the if statement. So we can do this for every other result that we have. Now that is not all for today, but this is also very cool because we've been able to achieve this kind of statistics in the result system, right? So that is okay. Now there are a few other things we can do with the result. For example, let's say we want to look for a particular value. Okay, let's say we want to look for a particular value. Okay, so let's go back to this place. I want to show you that we have so the next command we want to look for is the of course put equal to, it's called the VLOOKUP. Let me put this. So VLOOKUP, look up, sorry, look up. Yeah, so make sure we close that. So what does it do? We use it to look for a particular value in a particular row or a particular cell. Okay, let me even quickly do something. So from this result, we want to be able to easily identify people that scored A. Maybe let's say A, B, and C. Okay, let's just say F9. The people that has F9, we want to easily identify them. Let's just use F9. So I'm going to come over here and use what we call conditional formatting. In conditional formatting, we can use it to check if someone failed or passed. They can, you know, conditionally format the text how we want it to be. Does it make sense? Okay, so click on this first one. I'm going to go to conditional formatting. I'm going to say highlight text. I'm going to go to text that contains. You can use greater than and less than and all that. You can do that if you want to. So of course I will do that in a minute. So text that contains F9. So I'm going to say any text that contains F. You can just do F. Okay, let's write it with like. So if I click, nothing happens, but then when I drag down all the way to this place, you see that the ones that have F9 can easily be identified that they have F9 here. The same thing can be applied here. Okay, let me do that. So you can highlight all of them if you want to and do it at the same time. So I can say highlight value less than. I can say highlight any value that is less than 40. Okay, so I click OK, and you see the same thing happens here. So anyone that is less than 40 will be highlighted as that. The same thing, any score you update here, any one you update here, let me say I give this person 0, give them 0 here, give them 0 here, give them 0 here. You see, automatically it turns red because now this person has failed. Okay, so that is how it works. Very, very, very simple. That's for conditional formatting. So let's go back to the VLOOKUP wizard that I was talking about. So let me give an example. Okay, I'll come over. Where will I do this now? Okay, let me do it here. So I'll just call it VLOOKUP. Lookup. Okay, so under here, what I want to do is to let's push this. Okay, so I can be able to see it properly. I should have expanded this. Oh, not that. Let's do this way. Yeah, change the fonts, make it bigger, and okay, so we can manage this way. Make sure it's okay. Yeah, so I'll click on this lookup wizard. So I want to write just a program to look for. Let me say I want to look for anybody that scored 80 and above. Okay, no, let's say anybody that scored 70 and above. I want to look for that, or I just want to look for a specific person. Okay, let's start with specific person. Let's say I want to look for the value. Let's say I want to look for the value of okay, let's say I want to look for the value of 60. Okay, in the first in the column of this. So I want to say 50 in the column of this average, and then also return the corresponding value from the second one. Let me just show you how that works. Okay, so I'll just say equal to VLOOKUP. Okay, it's already there. Just click to complete there. VLOOKUP equal to VLOOKUP. Okay, so the first thing it takes is the value I want to look up for. Let me say I want to look up for let's say 60. Okay, comma. Now this is the table or array I want to look up for, and then this is the index, the column index number I want to look up for, and I can also have the range if I want to. So the table I want to look for is this table, this whole table. Okay, this whole table now is, let me just go a little bit. Let's say I want to look for it in this whole table. That is E4 to let's go down a little bit. So E4 to Q18. So I'm going to say E4 to, this is the table because this is the whole table. If E4 to Q what? Q18. Yeah, don't mind me. So I'll put comma there, and then so I can say I want to return the corresponding value from the second column, right? So from that second column, that is this one, this is second. I can see 60 here, so I want to return from this second column, you know, backward. So I can just say 2. That's from the second column. That's the index of the column I want to return it for, and then and that is, and then what you can add here is, you know, the lesson says the range of the lookup. You can add range of lookup. So if you want to add, you can add, but then I'm not adding, so I just say false. Okay, and then close the parentheses and then press enter, and I have a little error here. It says the problem by clicking. Okay,